All right, well, I had to make a video on this because just how much attention it got this past weekend. I promise this will be my last Shedeur Sanders video for a while, unless he gets some regular season games. That's just kind of how I'm going to handle this. But despite the fact that I already made a video on this game, I very rarely will go back and make another video on a specific game, but I wanted to get the ALL-22 footage going because among the criticism he got for taking too many sacks, a lot of people have brought up, well, was it really his fault? I mean, the situation was not ideal, and that's absolutely true that the situation was not ideal. So let's talk about what part of it wasn't his fault, what part of it was his fault. Let's really get into the weeds with it right here. Let's try to be as nuanced as possible in a conversation that has pretty much been anything but online. Let's get into it. First, the play you see on your screen. Cover 2 man coverage. Watch what happens. Sanders takes a snap. You see he's going to first look towards those two routes down the field. Trying to get a first down here, so, okay. This is on a third down, and you have to get to the 25-yard line, so those two routes going past the 25-yard line makes sense for him to look towards. However, at the same time, they're clearly not open. I mean, what is Sanders supposed to do? Well, there is an option. You have the halfback who is, underneath right here for a check down. You could flip it to him. There are honestly multiple Rams players who could come in and make a play, but you give yourself an option, right? This is what Tom Brady would do. This is what Peyton Manning would do. But we're also in a new era of football where you see guys like Josh Allen and Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow scramble outside, find a way to make something else happen, right? It's all the balance of what is the expected value of checking down. How often does the running back get the first down? I don't know, maybe 10% of the time. Can you make something happen more than 10% of the time? Here you're going to see Shedeur Sanders scrambles outside the pocket. He actually finds someone who ends up getting open and just can't quite make the play. But early on in the game, I think we're all kind of like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Keep doing that stuff. That's totally cool. So far through this play, no real issue. Yeah, you would have liked to see the play get made. It didn't fully work out. But it was so tough to make that throw. Obviously, I don't think anyone can really blame him for not making that one. But now let's head over here. We'll get into some more X's and O's on some of the later plays. I don't think we need to dive that deep right just yet. You see, though, Shedeur Sanders is going to take the snap. And again, tough situation. This is just absolutely what happened when you watch the tape. No one's open right here. I've circled the 4 eligible receivers who are running routes. None of those guys are getting open. This is once again a third down. And you see the pressure. I've heard people critiquing Sanders for dropping too far back. And what it is, the thing he does sometimes, I don't really think that was really an issue in this game. On this play, sure, he's going too far back, which is hurting the left tackle. The left tackle is actually making a fine block, but because of this, pressure is going to come off the edge. But the right tackle isn't doing a great job. There's pressure, kind of going towards the inside. So for Shedeur, he can't really stay in the pocket here. He has to try and make something else happen. So watch how he's going to scramble out, and this is a tough situation where you see, once again, a receiver is starting to get open right here. So Shedeur wants to make that throw. You have an opportunity to pick up this first down. Let's make a play right here. And right as he's throwing it, didn't see the player behind him, fumbles the football. Luckily for him, the Rams player got both hands on it, just couldn't pick it up. Luckily for the Browns, wasn't a turnover. But anyway, as of right here, this is fine, right? This is him trying to make a play. Honestly, it's going okay, with exception of the fumble, which you don't want to have happen. I'm not going to crush him for these types of moments. But now we got to go over here, because that was not exclusively what was happening out there. Again, these things require nuance. It's not one or the other. It can be both. There can be plays where there was nothing he could have done, and plays where there were things he could have done. Zone coverage concept, you see basically every receiver is doing the exact same thing. Run further out and then cut more, underneath, towards the bottom of the screen. Worth noting, this is a second down, not a third down. They're trying to get to the opponent's 42-yard line. Shedeur Sanders takes the snap. He looks down the field, looks over the middle, which, hey, I don't hate that as a first read. You see this route. What's one thing you can notice? It's not open, right? That's what you can notice. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You see how crowded it is. Well, what does that mean? If you're starting off looking, there's 4 routes. You're starting off looking the middle one closest to your right. Well, that means further to your right is probably going to be open. This is how you want your next read to go. You use, if it's zone coverage you're going up against, you use where the gravity is on that play to determine where you want to go next. This is going through your progressions. This is wide open, quite frankly, and this would be a great situation. I don't know if it goes for a first, but it certainly gives you a good chunk of yards, sets up a very convertible third down situation. Instead, Shedeur Sanders, he's not even paying attention to throwing the football at this point. There is pressure off the edge, and keep in mind, this is an example where he's fine. He could step up in the pocket. Like, he has plenty of time to throw if he wants to. He's going to be a little bit creative. Watch, he's going to the spin move, right? That's his patented spin move. He's very good at it, but now what did you do? Well, now you're 10 yards further back. There's no way you can make that throw, and you got sacked for 23 yards, and that was the one that went viral and everyone went crazy over. But, like, this is the issue. In college, this was a correct strategy because he could run past everybody, and he could make this play style work. When people bring up him not being a great athlete, it's not exactly true. He actually is a better athlete than a lot of NFL caliber quarterbacks. The issue is he's not a good enough athlete to work with this play style on every single time he does it. It's all to balance, right? He's going to have to figure out when he should, go outside the pocket on a play like this and when he shouldn't. How often he shouldn't, how often he shouldn't. Play like this, guy was open. Like, that should have been a pass. It just should have. This play's another one where what's going to happen is it's a man coverage concept, just breaking down the left side of the field because that's the direction he's going to look on this play. But you see, curl route, a deep shot, and then a route that's going to start off. I can tell if I think this is a designed curl route that eventually is going to kind of turn into, a more over the middle route, but watch what happens. Shedeur Sanders takes the snap. You see him look towards the bottom of the screen. And honestly, he could throw this. Like, I wouldn't hate this at all. Like, it's open. Gain some yards here, right? It's first down. It's not going to be anything crazy. I think if that's where you're looking first, throw it there. It is. He's staying on the hash marks on the top of the screen, looking outside the numbers. Like, I don't think you have to make this throw, but I guess my question is, if this isn't where you want to throw, then why are you looking here? It doesn't seem to be to get the safety out of position. So if this is where your first read is, I don't know why you don't throw it now. But anyway, he's going to then go through his progressions. And I have to say, had he noticed where this safety is standing right here, not staying very far deep at all, again, the best quarterbacks in the league do notice this kind of, he would see that receiver is about to get wide open down the field. This could honestly be a touchdown if he can make a good enough throw and the receiver can run a good route. If nothing else, you have a chance to make a big play right here. But Shedeur Sanders isn't looking in that direction, which again, it is what it is. He's a rookie quarterback. You don't expect him to see everything right away. Although I would say, I thought in college he did a great job at noticing this stuff, so little disappointing seeing him maybe get a little overwhelmed here. The good news is right over there where he is looking, another receiver is getting open. So hey, no worries, right? I mean, you've had time to get to your next read. You have a player who's open. You have a clean pocket in this moment, so like, you're good. Except again, he doesn't decide to throw, and I think at that point, he was already figuring out how he was going to scramble and run. I think that he's just too quick at this point to decide that he needs to start moving. And again, I should mention, like, pressure isn't coming that quickly on most of these plays. Like, this is about when you expect pressure to come. This isn't anything crazy. Yes, people have brought up he's playing with fourth stringers or whatever, but he's also playing against fourth stringers, right? So it's not going to be easier when you go up against the first team guys in the regular season. I have a couple more examples, but I won't show those. I think you guys get the idea. Again, it's some of this. Definitely tough situation. Also, definitely him making the situation worse on specific plays, and that's just what you have to clean up. Listen, I'm not willing to give up on Shedeur Sanders. I felt like he was a project quarterback coming out of the draft, and this is exactly why. He was going to have to figure out when to run and when not to run. In college, his scrambling and his playmaking was not just a good thing. It was like the main thing people liked about him. Go back and listen to people that had Shedeur Sanders as quarterback one. The number one thing they will say is stuff like this, his scrambling outside the pocket, making things happen. In this game, it just was much more of a negative than a positive. And when you get sacked on, first down, well, now basically the rest of the play is over. Excuse me, the rest of the drive is over. Obviously, the rest of the play is over. So, you just have to be more careful of this kind of thing. So, yeah, ultimately, is the narrative that Shedeur Sanders was just in a bad situation and was going to look bad no matter what true? A little bit. I think that that's not unfair to say, but I always maintain you can still evaluate a player no matter the situation that they are in. You just have to make sure that you pay close attention and use the proper nuance with some of this stuff. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, done with the Shedeur Sanders stuff for a while, but it's been an interesting conversation. Most of us, I think, have had fun conversations with it. Unfortunately, some of it's gotten toxic, but what are you going to do? Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.